It's good to see you.
What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, giving you another video. This video is going to be about the top 10 most frequently asked questions. And this could also technically be like a beginner's guide video type of deal. So for the number one, not number one, but the first question that is probably one of the most frequently asked questions is, who or what character should you pick as your first hero? So, guys, Gazillion had made the what's called Eternity Splinters for your first bit of Eternity Splinters that you get for completing the prologue. You only get 200 instead of 525 now. So the characters that you can get that are 525 are Angela, Squirrel Girl, Nova, Hulk, Kitty Pryde, and Hawkeye. So this is Angela, and Squirrel Girl would be, where is she? Right here. Nova would be this guy right here that looks like this. Hulk would be obviously the big green mean machine. Next one would be Kitty Pryde. This is what she looks like. Last one would be Hawkeye. It's in alphabetical order, so I'm pretty sure I just skipped him. Yeah, so this is Hawkeye. Hawkeye originally looks like this, the classic one. So which characters should you pick first out of those 6 characters? The Angela, Hulk, Kitty Pryde, and Nova are the top 4 of those 6 characters that most people go for. Angela right now, the thing about Angela is, once she gets full resource, she basically has no cooldown on any of her abilities, and she also she's one of the better characters to use for confusing enemies. If you guys don't know, confusing lets your enemies attack each other and they deal 2000% more damage to each other as well. So that's a really good ability to have. Squirrel Girl, she was nerfed in a recent patch, like a few patches ago, so she was a top pick, but now she's like probably a C rating character because of her confusability was nerfed to 20 seconds cooldown. Nova is a very highly picked character, mainly because his signature what his signature does is all of his cooldown abilities no longer have cooldown, and he no longer uses resources either when he's using his signature, and it's like a 10-second duration or something like that for his signature. But not just that though, but there's a talent also where when you use his signature and you use a cooldown ability, any cooldown abilities, his signature also cooldowns quicker by 0.5 seconds. Every time you use a cooldown ability, so he's pretty much able to spam his signature fairly quick. Hulk is a great pick for your first time picks, because one, he's a fun character to play. He's very durable. I'm not gonna say a well-rounded character. He's definitely a strong character, but can also take hits as well. So if you're trying to get a good feel of the game, Hulk is a very well picked character to use. Kitty Pryde is a very strong character to use once you get her to level 60 and through Cosmic and all that. Her signature, all of her phasing abilities, everything about her is just so strong. She's a very underrated character too. You normally won't see that many Kitty Prydes. Maybe you'll see a lot of them now because she's at a 200 Eternity Splinters price. So Hawkeye,
good to see you,
the thing about Hawkeye is he's not a top tier damage character or a top tier support character. He's like a balanced character. He can support and do damage, like a fair amount of damage. He's not you can't really compare him with Hulk or Kitty Pryde or Nova's damage or Angela, because he's just not as strong in them at all. He's just Hawkeye. He's not a bad character. I'm not gonna say he's bad. He's definitely like a B rating character, a B- rating character or something. Mainly because he's got good support abilities and he's got okay damage abilities. So For the second most frequently asked questions would be, what do each vendor do? What do each vendors do? So the vendors you have the Logistics Division Quartermaster, Engineering Division Specialist, Science Division Specialist, Research and Development Analyst. Those are the four in the middle at the Avengers headquarters. You have the Legendary Item Vendor, you have the Marvelous Essence Exchange Vendor, and then you have your Relic Exchange Vendor. So I'll just go over the Relic Exchange.
I hope you find what you need.
What the Relic Exchange Vendor does is you would stack up 100 relics of whatever. So you would say, let's say relics of Xander, you have 100 of them, right? So you would purchase the relic crate of Xander. You want, the thing you're going to be getting guaranteed is the currency, which is the time lost relics. The time lost relics you can use to purchase any of the complete relics. So you can purchase the complete relic of Xander, Wakanda, Gibberim, Subterranea, Atlantis, and Asgard. And they give you, what the complete relics of whatever gives is, they give you the max amount of stats that you can get for your relics. For example, Asgard would be plus 500 melee and 1000 health. But they also give you +1 to all attributes. So the only way you can get these is from purchasing it with 5 time lost relics, or you can get it from a random relic crate, or you can get it from the actual relic crate of Asgard and all that stuff. If you go for the relic crate of Asgard, it's not going to give you any other complete relics except for the relic crate of Asgard. But here's the thing, you have 3 different options that are 3 different RNG options. So it'll give you a complete relic of or a complete relic of whatever crate you open, a Maxwell Jordan's Lost Ring stone, or a random cosmic gear for your current hero. So the Maxwell Jordan's Lost Ring, what that is it gives you +50 to your resource, 10% increase to your resource, and you also gain 1 or 2 attributes increase to all attributes. So that's the Relic Vendor. The next one is the Marvelous Exchange Vendor, Essence Exchange Vendor. So you basically need to spend real money, or, well, actually with the update, every character you level up, I think it's like 5, 15, 30, and 50 or something, you get the first 4 boxes for leveling up. And then every character you get to level 60, you get 1 Marvelous Loot Box. So you can total up to about like 40 something, maybe, I believe, about 40, like 42 crates in total. And then when you open those crates, you'll be getting Marvelous Essence guaranteed. Now you won't be guaranteed on getting like 50 Marvelous Essence, but you'll be guaranteed getting 5 or more. The Marvelous Essence are used to buy costumes of the month, whichever costumes are here for that month. They always switch every month. Shield supply boost, minor experience boost, and currency boosters. So you can purchase, and combination boosters. You can purchase those boosters or costumes from the Marvelous Exchange Vendor. The Legendary Item Vendor, you come here to get any of the legendary items you want to get for your specific character. So, for example, I would, for Scarlet Witch, I would come here and get the Warlock's Eye, because that's the best in slot artifact for her, because it's all magic based, chaos damage, and all that, blah blah blah. So this would be the best choice for her. You just really want to try to find what I do is to find out what legendary item to get is I go into my skills, and then I look at what each ability is based off of. So, for example, Scarlet Witch is mainly all magic damage. She's also mixed with range damage as well, but there are some abilities that aren't ranged, so the majority of her abilities are magic based. As you can see, it says signature, ranged, and magic. This one says ranged, magic, chaos, magic, movement, dash, cooldown. So most of it is all magic. You want to look at what your character has is primarily focused on. for your build, and then you would go for whatever legendary item that benefits you in that build. So that's that for the legendary items. Now for these four vendors. So let's go ahead and start with the Quartermaster.
What can I do for you?
Quartermaster, it offers you a bunch of different materials that you can purchase. The most important ones to get would be the orange ones, like technical readout, supplier, contract information, and engineering schematic. Those are very important to get. And then the other most important one to get that doesn't cost credits, it costs 100 legendary marks, is the modification installation kit. You need this for furthering your upgrades and stuff on your gear. So the next one is engineering division specialist. So with this vendor, you can craft blue, dark blue, light blue, and purple gear. The purple gear only maxes out at level 58 gear. It won't go to level 60. But that's not the real reason why you're coming to this vendor. You're coming here to mainly upgrade your materials. So you would come here to for example, I would come here to if I wanted astral essence formation, I would use my meteorite dust, hold square, and then I would get 5 astral essences.
Sometimes I feel like
also,
take me for granted.
This vendor also has artifacts that you can craft as well. They do kind of cost a lot of materials and a lot of credits to craft, but you can also earn other artifacts as well. So the way you can earn other artifacts is coming to the research and development analyst. So like I said, with the technical readouts from the Quartermaster, those 3 orange materials, you would use them on you would use them on the research and development analyst. So I'll go ahead and use it on a level 3. So you can use it to level up your vendors, or you can have a chance of getting what's called a random artifact or whatever for the engineering specialist or whatever. So I just purchased the level 3 engineering division research results. So what you would do is after you purchase that, you go to your inventory, go to your supplies, boxes, and then you would press X to open it, and you would get all this stuff. And sometimes you might not get your actual whatever. So oh no, you have to actually open the actual research, and then you might have a chance of getting the artifacts, a random artifact, or not just but you'll be guaranteed getting experience. So the research and development analyst will give you experience towards any of these 3 vendors. So next is the science division specialist. So this is a very, very important specialist to have ranked up to max to level 20. First, I would definitely get this vendor up to level 20, then the engineering, then the Quartermaster, last one. The reason why you want to get the science division specialist to max is because you want to have these artifact mods, and you want to have all these enhancements, and then these miscellaneous, the cosmic reconstructing artifacts and cosmic gear and stuff. The reason why you want these is because the artifact mods will give you increased stats towards your artifacts. Make sure you have a modification installation kit and 100,000 crafting credits, as well as having the materials as well. But make sure you use these modifications on an artifact that you really want to use, or that you're going to use for a very long time, that you know you won't be replacing anytime soon for a while. For the enhancements, so the thing about enhancements is all the ones that have the armor looking thing, those are all meant for utility slots. So as you can see in the materials required, it says utility slot armor item. So all the utility slot armor items or enhancements require modification installation kits and 50,000 credits, as well as rare materials. And there's quite a few enhancements for your utilities. So You can get those. Make sure you have a really good utility that you won't be replacing for a while, because it will be a pain to farm those legendaries if you don't have, you know, anything to farm with. The targeting assist system, so not just this, but there's enhancements for the rest of your gear, not for your medallions and not for your rings. It's for your weapon, your upper, your lower, and your accessories. So something like all your offensive enhancements, like your crit hit rating, melee, ranged, all that is meant for your weapon and accessory only that are superheroic and higher. So superheroic and cosmic, and once Omega comes out, Omega gear 2. The other one would be something like endurance stimulator. So that one, as you can see, it says upper body or lower body item, superheroic or greater rarity. So these ones are extremely cheap. They're only 10,000 credits, and they do not require any installation kits. So you can keep modding any gear that you want to do that for. So and then the next thing would be for your reconstructing. That's just, it re-rolls your stats completely. What is it called? There's one. Okay, dimensionally shift artifact. So what this does is, if you have a cosmic artifact, it will change the cosmic affix. So for example, I have my cosmically enhanced gem of curse. So it says cosmic item, while in combat your attributes are increased by 1. If you end up doing the dimensionally shift cosmic artifact affix, whatever, changing thing, whatever, it'll only change the cosmic item affix. So it'll change that to something else if I didn't like this one, and so on and so on. And then the last thing about the science vendor is the unbind item. For this, you need to have Matrix of Unbinding, and you can get that from Marvelous Loot Boxes, or you can just purchase them in the store, which cost 100 Gs, which is $1. Now, the next question that is pretty frequently asked is, what stats should you focus on? So the 5 stats you should be focusing on in order would be your main attributes, your base damage, your crit hit, brutal strike, critical damage, and brutal damage. So your critical hit and your brutal strike, those vary depending on each character. So characters like Daredevil or Blade and even Hulk don't necessarily need to focus on crit hit or brutal strike, because those are characters that focus a lot on brutal damage and crit damage and their main attributes. So that'll be really easy for them. For your main attributes, the way you can check out your main attributes is you would go to your skills, go to traits, and then you would see on the left side it'll say 4% per whatever. So energy or intelligence for Scarlet Witch. So every time you get 1 point into energy or intelligence, it increases your base damage by 4%. So that right there is something you definitely want to focus on. Having 3173, or not, this is just my Scarlet Witch. I'm at 3173 crit hit and whatnot. So if you want to see your stats, you just go to your inventory, press L3, and then you would go down to offensive stats. You could also go to buffs, but it shows everything is right except for your attributes. Attributes are all switched around. So I just go to my inventory and press L3. And then you can see at the top, it shows durability, strength, fighting, speed, energy, and intelligence. So every character can benefit from every single attribute, but every character has 2 specific attributes that they focus on for their base damage. So yeah, that's basically it for that question. The next question, the question number 4, is how do you get legendary marks? So legendary marks you can get from completing all 9 of your story missions, your chapters. Only one character needs to complete all 9 chapters from the beginning to the end. You don't need to do it on every single character to get your legendary quest, because that's the only way you can get your legendary quest, is having one character complete all 9 chapters and then you'll get a few other side quests to do, and then you'll be able to do your legendary quests. And your legendary quest varies on the difficulty and the type of legendary quest it is. So for me, it says daily whatever. So it says patrol Midtown, defeat supervillains 0 to 6, 0 out of 6. If I do this on Cosmic, I'll get about five, what's it called, legendary marks. If you do this on normal, you'll probably get 1 or 2 legendary marks. If it was an operation based, I believe it was an operation based legendary quest, then you'll probably get 5 or 6 legendary marks. So yeah. And then another really good way, or not a really good way, is your dupes. So if you farm dupes, most dupes spawn in at operations. They can give you about 6, I believe. I think it gives you like 1 or 2 actually legendary marks. I don't remember, but yeah, dupes are another good way to get legendary marks. But the most absolute best way to do legendary mark farming is you want to have 5 currency boosters. So if you do plan on spending $5 on this game or anything, I would highly recommend making sure you can pick up 5 currency boosters, because that right there is only $3.25 in total, but the lowest amount of G's that you can buy is up to 5, so that's $5 you're spending. So what you could do is you could buy 325 currency boosters, and then buy another currency booster, and then you can save the rest of your G's. So yeah, you want to have, if you have 5 currency boosters active, that's 2.5 hours. So with the currency boosters, every boss you kill, you get 6 legendary marks if you have the 5 active. The best place to farm your legendary marks would be Times Square on normal difficulty, because there are 6 bosses, and on normal difficulty they will not be hard too much, depending on, like, if you just started or whatever and you're only level 11, yeah, it might be pretty hard if you're soloing. But if you're in a group, you can do this fairly quick. If you're pretty much geared out like I am right here, you can do Times Square in under 2 minutes. So you'll be getting 36 legendary marks in under 2 minutes if you're fairly geared out and doing it on normal difficulty. The next question is, how do you level up, or what's an effective leveling way? So there was a good way to level up. It was patched. It was an exploit. It was the treasure rooms farming. 2 treasures spawned automatically without killing the enemies. This was in
More
Chapter
like the
8. It doesn't matter why I'm telling you. I'm just telling you this was the best way. It was in Doomsday Inner Village. You would just farm the inner brew house, and then you would get 2 treasures, and then you would get a ton of XP. For what is it? Sorry, I just got a message. Anyways, yeah, so that used to be the best way. Now we're back to the original way. The best way right now, in my opinion, is to stick with the story and increase your difficulty from doing your trials. So you would go to your trials, do heroic trial, then superheroic trial if you can. You unlock your trials at level 11, and superheroic unlocks right after that. So it's after you complete heroic trials at level 11, you can go straight into superheroic trials. I would highly recommend just waiting until you're level 20, and then you can go out and buy from the inner Doomstat vendor. There's a vendor right in front of you. He sells purple gear that you can buy with 1 Eternity Splinter and 999 credits. So it's this vendor right here, the basic vendor. You can purchase the accessory, lower body, upper body, and utility. You won't get a weapon, but I mean, it's still pretty good. You buy those, and then you can have a chance of getting cosmic gear and purple gear. But yeah, so you would stick to the story, but also you would make sure you do each treasure room too. Make sure you do every single treasure room you can find, because the treasure rooms are going to give you a ton of XP. And yeah, another really good way is to have experience boosters active, just like the currency boosters. Experience boosters will definitely help you out. if you have the 5 experience boosters active and you're doing every single treasure room, you should hit level 60 by the time you hit chapter 5. About 5 by the end of chapter 5 or close to the end of chapter 5. If you are level 60 and you're trying to find a way to level up your legendary item, the best way would be to farm, what's this called? Church of Purification. Because Church of Purification, it gives you 2 chests, but you have to kill 250 enemies. But if you're farming in a group, it becomes really easy. You can get that 250 kills fairly quick, and then Juggernaut's not a hard boss at all. The only thing that he does that is a one-shot is his charge ability, but that's easy to dodge and whatnot. So Treasure Purification is definitely the easiest, the fastest operation to farm for your experience, or the best one. If you have if you have the 5 XP boost active and you have 100% hero synergy active, you can farm Treasure Purification in about under 8 minutes and get about 8 million experience per run. So yeah, that's about it for how to level up fast. The 6th question: what's the fastest way to farm Eternity Splinters? So Eternity Splinters, what that is, it's right here in your currency tab. It's these purple crystals. What Eternity Splinters do is you're able to purchase your characters and with Eternity Splinters. Some vary, some cost 750, some cost 500, and some cost 200. You can also use Eternity Splinters for, what was it called, your ultimate upgrades. I'm not using it. I don't think it's really worth using too much. You can buy 1 ultimate upgrade for 200 splinters. So I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're really maining that specific character and you have every other character unlocked. But yeah, there is no fast way to level up Eternity, or not to level up. There's no fast way to gain Eternity Splinters. What I normally do is I don't even think about it, because you get 1 to 5 Eternity Splinters every 7 or so minutes. So it's every kill, it's per kill or per 1 kill. It doesn't matter how many enemies you kill. You only get Eternity Splinters from 1 enemy. You can also get Eternity Splinters from your shield supply boxes and Marvelous loot boxes as well. They have a chance of dropping Eternity Splinters. Yeah, they have a chance of dropping Eternity Splinters. I think it's like 10 Eternity Splinters, like 2 to 10 Eternity Splinters that you can get from them. So which would be, you can get shield supply boxes from shield supply boosters, which is the only way. Well, you can get shield supply boosters also from Prestiging too. Keep that in mind. Who is the best character to play as, which is the 7th most frequently asked question. Who is the best character to play? For me, I wouldn't necessarily say there is a best overall character to play as. Every character has their strengths and every character has their weakness. So Scarlet Witch, for her, she's one of the easiest characters, or most. Scarlet Witch is very easy of a choice to pick for farming supply boxes or doing speed runs in a group. But her boss kill effectiveness isn't as high as many other characters. She's at an average boss kill rate. Blade, he's a very, 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 probably one of the best boss killers in the game. But the only problem about him is he's not that great against a bunch of adds. That's where Scarlet Witch comes in. If you have the 2 together, Scarlet Witch can definitely clear out all the adds, and then Blade can kill the boss fairly quick. Someone like Doctor Strange, he's great for buffs and summons. Someone like Rocky Raccoon is great for summons. Iceman and Storm are great for crowd controls, so on and so on. Every character depends on your playstyle and the way you build them and the way you gear them. The 8th most frequently asked question is, how do synergies and infinity points work? So in synergies, you gain synergies for every character that reaches level 25 and 50. So I'll go into my synergies. right here says, for like I'll just look at Angela. It says 2.5% cooldown power damage and +1 speed. As you see, there's a box. It says 25 and a 50. So you hit level 25, you'll get the first stat, and then if you hit level 50, you'll get the second. You'll get both of them. You can have up to 10 different character synergies. So as you see, I have Beast, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Gambit, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Jean, Scarlet, Squirrel Girl, and Thor. So you can have different character synergies active for one character, for each character, whatever. You just really want to make sure you focus on what their synergy is, if it can benefit you. The ones that can highly benefit you the most are the ones that have specific attributes. For example, Beast and who would it be? Beast and Gambit. Those two characters benefit you would benefit Scarlet Witch the most because they give you your main attributes. And then Hawkeye is another one that really highly benefits, and Squirrel Girl, and Scarlet Witch's synergies, because Scarlet Witch does damage over time. A lot of characters have damage over time effective abilities, and as Squirrel Girl, you're always going to be fighting a boss. So Squirrel Girl's 4% boss damage increase is really good. And then what was it? Hawkeye's, what's it called? Hawkeye synergy. That 3% crit damage increase is good for every and any character. For your infinity points, the way infinity points works is it adds extra stats that make you much stronger over time. So the more infinity points you have, the stronger you basically get. Just like in Diablo 3, how Paragon points basically worked. The more Paragon points you had, the stronger all your characters basically. What is it? So I would highly recommend that if you have 25 points and higher, that you use them on your main attributes. So for example, on my Scarlet Witch, main attribute is intelligence and energy. So I put my points into intelligence, and then I put the rest into crit damage. You can put whatever remaining points you have into whatever you want to put it in. I just put in crit damage because that's just more damage output. But intelligence is what I mainly focused putting my points into and whatnot. And yeah, you can use your experience boosters as well to level up your infinity points. So just keep that in mind if you do plan on doing infinity point farming. And yeah, so the second to the last questions would be, what are credits and materials used for? So credits are primarily used to purchase materials from the Quartermasters and upgrades and materials and whatnot, and then materials are used to make higher material and upgraded your gear. So you would use your credits here, purchase all this, whatever. I wouldn't purchase all the expensive stuff, so all the stuff I'm purchasing now is what you should probably purchase if you have the credits. Let me just finish purchasing all this real quick, and then you can refresh it, purchase it again. And then you want to make sure you have credits still so that you can upgrade your gear. And then you would, if you need materials, you would come to the engineering vendor and then upgrade your materials here. And yeah, so that's what the materials and the credits are primarily used for. And then the last question is, how do I beat Cosmic Trials? So a lot of people have a lot of trouble completing Cosmic Trials. So here's a tip on how to do that. So you want to make sure you're getting geared up for Cosmic Trials. So you want to make sure you have pretty well optimized superhero gear. You don't necessarily need optimized superheroic gear. You can do it with not necessarily really low stats, but like not highly optimized. It would be highly recommended to have optimized stats, so that way you're not like having sweaty palms or whatever doing your trials too, so you're not having to try too hard. The next thing is you want to make sure you have a solid build that works for you, not a build that you've seen someone else use and then you try to copy it exactly, because everyone plays differently. Some people can use the same exact build, some people can use the same build and then tweak it a bit to the way that they play. some people have to completely make up their own build that hasn't even been used. Another thing is make sure you consistently move around. Don't just stand in one spot like this. If you're attacking, make sure you're moving around. Teleport around. Don't keep spamming your teleports because you want to be able to conserve your teleports. You want to make sure you use at least 1 or 2 teleports and have at least 1 or 2 teleports saved up, because you want to make sure if you get stuck, or if you're trapped, or if it becomes too chaotic, you want to make sure you have a teleport to get out of that area. I mean, you could always fly out, but there is that like 2 seconds of a timer or whatever before you can start flying or running or doing whatever. Another thing is you do not need to have all your synergies. You don't even need any synergies. You don't need any infinity points, and you definitely do not need cosmic gear either.
Coffee later?
Like I said, you don't need well optimized gear for cosmic trials, because I've done it without optimized gear, and I've even like on Iceman, when I first started playing this game, not first time, but when it came out for open beta, first day, in the first 2 hours, I got Iceman through cosmic trials, got him up to level 60, and then went straight into cosmic trials, and I only had like blue gear. Then again, Iceman was a little broken back then during open beta, but I mean, it still says a lot when I have only Iceman synergy. I had blue gear and no, like maybe 14 infinity points. So yeah, you can definitely do it without synergies or infinity points or cosmic gear. Also, the last thing is make sure you're patient. Be patient. Don't expect to get it done in the first try, because I mean, I've had a couple characters that I've completed trials with the first try, being under geared and whatnot, with a really good build and whatnot. But there's a lot of characters that I played that it took me about 20 tries to complete. For example, Scarlet Witch. I didn't have a good build for her because her vaporized capabilities don't work in trials. So I had to completely make a different build for her for cosmic trials. And it took me almost nearly 20 tries to actually find the build and make it good for her. And yeah, so you know, it really you really got to make sure you're patient with it. Do it maybe 10 times, give it 10 attempts before you stop, and then try it again an hour later, or try it again the next day. You know, don't give up and say it's impossible, because if it was impossible, they wouldn't have put up the characters in the game in the first place. You know what I mean? So that's all of that's the top 10 most frequently asked questions. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. If this long video helps you out at all, go ahead and let me know. You know, if this video helps, go ahead and leave a like, go ahead and subscribe. I hit that 500 subs, and I'm hoping to keep going even more. So yeah, if you haven't subbed already, go ahead and sub it so you can see more content and whatnot. And yeah, I'll be posting more informative videos and stuff, and speed runs and whatnot. And yeah, this is all Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.
When you think about it,